Good evening and welcome back to MegaFactory Titan, where I have continued with the bus and we are up to here now, which I think we're at lithium. We're at lithium now. So we have fluoride, neodymium, platinum and uranium to go. So that's quite cool. However, I ran out of space because I need to get rid of that there. And then buy this land here. Let's buy this land here right now. Oof, there we go. Let's stop these buy those. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. We brought all them. We'll buy this later. We're going to wait for these to disappear, I think, first. Because we can do that. We can do that once we get the electronic warfare devices going, which is a while off yet. However, I have been looking at what we're going to do next. The next tier. So this is all our smeltery, and it's going to have our extruders. Our extruders going to go this way as well once we fill in this lake, which we can do now. Actually, we've been mining a lot of limestone. Remember, this was all limestone. It's all gone. It's all gone. All the limestone is gone. All the limestone has become landfill, which is quite nice. And then we're going to mine up all this limestone and make it landfill as well. I'm going to leave that one because we might need limestone for something, limestone even for something else, like agrochemicals. And we can always use our slag, reprocessed slag, to make land reclamation as well, which I think we might do. We might have a dedicated thing set up, so we'll do that. However, I have messed up. With these. I was so eager to try and get this clear and get other bits and pieces done. I decided to just slap loads of stackable storehouses in, which is good, which is fine and fantastic and wonderful. But I don't have any more stackable storehouses, and I have to make them. I can't rent them, so nah. I was trying to make some here. I think I made like 2, and then we ran out of stuff because I need either steel or composites. It's going to be steel. Steel's easier. So instead I thought, you know what, let's just start the next tier of goods. We'll go to the workshops and we'll start making stuff here. And what we'll try and do is we'll try and line up what product is being produced to what's being used. Yes, there will be crossovers. That's going to happen. I can't do anything about that. Hopefully I can dedicate lines to it, however, rather than having a loop which can block up. We'll dedicate lines to things, so hopefully. So what I've done is I've moved up an arbitrary distance that I didn't really measure or take into any account whatsoever, but we've moved up a certain distance, and I just realised that none of these actually touch each other. Yeah, they don't cross. Oh yeah, they cross through the machine, so that's okay. So I moved up distance, and we're going to we're gonna do things. So let's just put in the power. I need to make more of these as well because we're running low on them. We've only got 5 left, so and then like this one, for instance, is going to take the concrete from here and then turn the concrete into building frames. And that's all it's going to do. Concrete is going to become building frames, and that's it. That's all this does. Dedicated concrete to building frames. So we can plug this in very, very easily. We're just going to literally run a line straight up like that. Ba-boom. Job done. There you go. And then the concrete will come out, become building frames. Building frames will go into here. This will be building frames. This is a standard storehouse. It's not a stackable one because you can rent standard storehouses. You can't rent any stackable one. So we're going to go with that. And the idea here is that this can be expanded. We can put 12 in either side, 6 in either side. So we can have 12 smelters, smelting goods down. And then here I've cut it down so there's only 3 on each side, so there'd be 6 at the most. So it's not the correct balance. This takes 3.8 seconds to produce 1, and this uses 2 in 1.2 seconds. So I believe it's like 6 to 1 or something like that. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I'm not building this for a direct throughput so that we're producing exactly the exact right amount of times, if that makes sense. We're producing it more. It's just going. If I wanted to actually get the exact amounts of things going so that we can have a prefabricator permanently producing, say, stackable warehouses, then I'd build a line for that. I'd actually would just be like, okay, so we need this, we need that, we need this. Let's all build that. Boom, boom. Plug in the resources to it, and there you go. That's the dedicated line for that. This is more of a, we have the bus of things that are all being made at whatever speeds. We have the things here, and then we can have a set of prefabricators building whatever we so need to do whatever we do, because sometimes we need a borehole drill, sometimes we need medical supplies, sometimes we need electronic warfare. You never know what you're going to need. So that's the idea. That's the idea, at least. So let's duplicate this. Oof. And we put it there. Book. Next one. And then this one is going to be whatever water becomes. So let's right click on here and let's see, what does water become? Water can become working fluid, it can become solid propellant, liquid propellant, high explosives, or nuclear fuel. Ooh. Well, right now I think I want to make solid propellant because that makes armor-piercing munitions, and armor-piercing munitions were being used for things. So I think we're going to have this set to making explosives, which are not made in here. What is solid propellant made? Solid propellant is made in an extruder or a refinery. Well, we're going to use a refinery for that. This one, because we have 3 of them. I don't know what the difference. I mean, it is weird that you've got both these buildings that do. It seems like they both do the same thing, and it is a little weird. It's like I don't get why the extruder can do some things that the refinery can do. Not only that they can do the same thing, they can do the same thing. Like if I remove this one here and put in and we'll go solid propellant, and then we'll tick on this one, and we'll go solid propellant. So this one can't do just as much as this one can. So it can do some, but it does it exactly the same way. So this can, we want to do water and hydrocarbons. And you're saying water and hydrocarbons. So it's 5, 3, 10 megawatts in 1 second. 5, 3, 10 megawatts in 1 second. It seems weird to me. I just kind of feel like the refinery should be more efficient, or the extruder should be less efficient. Well, either way around, this should maybe use more. Maybe if it was the same goods, it just use more power because the extruder's not designed for it, whereas the refinery is. I think it's weird. It just seems odd to me that there's 2 buildings that do exactly the same things in exactly the same ways. So there's no reason to not just use both of them. It is odd. It is odd, but that's the way they've done it. That's the way they've done it. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to not only just put in water, we need to have hydrocarbons come here. Now we have hydrocarbons down here, being stored loads here. And what we can do is we could run it just straight up the side here. We've got space in between here. It gets a bit more complicated when we come to these sort of things because there's not really any space to run it up in between. Although we could jump over the top of this, that wouldn't be a problem, and run it up. Another thing I've never really looked at is, can you run... No, it won't let me run a... I wonder whether we could run... a line on top of a line. That makes sense? But I don't think I can because I can't get... Yeah, no. Connecting to that one, that's not really what I want to do. We could do that. We could just come along and plug it into here. But I don't really want to do that. Alternatively, I could filter this to be both. So this fills up like half of it, and then we do that, and then the hydrocarbons come in and plug in. I think what would be better is to do something like this. We'll build another storehouse, like here, right next to it, boom, and then we'll run that. Did not go the way I expected it to go. That's really bizarre. I don't know what's happening with that one there. Yeah, that will not connect. which is a shame. Which is a shame because that would work really, really well. Ooh, ooh, that is not intended. That is absolutely not intended. I don't think we want to do that. No, 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 no. Let's destroy that and that and oh, why will you not connect? Try this again, shall we? You come up to there. You connect there, you connect there. Okay, there we go. Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, like that. And then what you can do with the maglevs, if you can actually filter them. You can filter the actual maglev itself. So we can say, hey, you want to do hydrocarbons. The hydrocarbons come this way, and the rest goes the other way. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I really don't. I really don't like that. I want this to be its own separate line, but I don't know how to get its own separate line in here. Okay, so I think this is the best way to go about doing this, having as many buffers as possible. So here we're going to filter hydrocarbons and water. We're going to put 25 of each stored here, which is kind of redundant because we've got this here, but then this is like the main water storage, so it will come up on this line here and then will turn and run along and feed whoever. This will become the hydrocarbons line, so that will come along because I know they're needed in multiple places, so that's going to work pretty well for us. And then we have a buffer here which will always ask for 2, and then from here it goes out to these ones here via standard pull maglevs, which is not ideal. I would like push maglevs, but then the distance is so short, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Also, I'd usually have the inputs right at the bottom, but I can't do it from here, so we'll deal with it like that. It's going to be slightly different, but that I think is the best way of getting this to work. And then we just need to do it with like the next thing. So what's ammonia used for? For instance, ammonia is used in high explosive, fuel augmentations, dirigibles, that sort of things, or it can be used to make all sorts of stuff down here, ceramic perhaps. So we might make ceramic with this, but that requires ammonia and silica, so I need to look at whether I want to use this for ammonia or whether I want to use it for agrochemicals, ammonia and fluoride, or whether I want to use it in making liquid propellant for when we do things like that. So that's one I think I'm going to skip for now because we don't need any of the stuff it's making right now except for perhaps ceramic. We'll see. Solid propellant we've got, so we'll skip that one. Where's the next one? So iron. Iron is used to make magnets, tools, working fluid, stuff like that. Working fluid is made using a lot of things. We just make hydraulic presses, which is quite useful. Thermal couples require, so hydraulic press must have working fluid, so we've got to make some working fluid because we need hydraulic pistons, sorry. Water and iron, water and sulfur. We'll see with this one. I'm not going to use silica, that's used in many phases. We'll use hydrocarbons, we are making a lot of those, but then that requires fluorine, which we don't have access to. Maybe we'll do it with iron and water, like right here. But the problem to this now is that also iron is used to make tools, and I want to use iron and we can use iron and liquid repellent, and then we can make liquid repellent with water and hydrocarbons, ammonia and hydrocarbons. Okay, so this is where it becomes a little bit complicated because there's going to be multiple things using iron, so I need to have like a space here for doing multiple things. This one's dedicated for ammonia, this is dedicated for iron, so I'm not sure how I want to do this. My initial thought was going to be do this and just have like 2 doing one, 2 doing another, 2 doing another, and then have a storage at the top with all the things stored in it. I don't know if that's such a smart idea, especially considering like I definitely want to make magnets. They are an absolute definite, although we can make magnets using other things. Don't want to make it with nickel. Nickel's a pain. We want to use as little nickel as possible. Then we don't have any neodymium yet. So we want to make magnets because we want to obviously do other things. We want to make the push magnets and things like that. So, but that's something that I want to make like a lot of. Like a real lot of. I would have a dedicated thing set up for doing that. But then I don't know whether we want to have this sort of setup going on here where we're making all the iron and all the bits and pieces down here and then we just take the things and make the stuff above it with that one, or whether I want to have a dedicated line for that. I don't know. The more I'm doing this, the more everything changes every time I come to it. So let's just not worry about that for the minute. Let's just take iron and let's make magnets. Let's go with magnets, and we're gonna have to do it with nickel for the time being because I don't have access to neodymium because we don't have that set up yet, so we can't do that. But also iron wants to be make into tools. I want tools and I want capacitors, but we're not making capacitors yet. So maybe this is one where we can not skip it per se, but it's going to be the next line up. So iron goes to the next line up of goods rather than this line because we're going to be making other stuff in between. So what does sulfur? What does sulfur make? Sulfur makes solar farms, which we're gonna want, but it can also make ceramic composite capacitors. It's going to need to make capacitors. I kind of feel like what I want to do instead of what I'm doing here is scrap this idea of leading everything directly onto it and just do the whole. Okay, so this is the first here. This is all the smelters. This is all the smelters that are coming down here. This is all complete smelters, and then we've got the extruders on the end which deal with the slag that's being made. So everything that's in the smelters goes here, and then everything that's in the factories goes here, and then we just figure out the balance in between it by doing stuff like this. I think that's going to be the best way to do this. Rather than trying to lead it on here, we'll just go with factories, and then whatever the factory wants to make. So yeah, so we'll go building frames, and this one will be wire, mineral wood, so on and so all the way down the list. Making things here. We need to look at a couple of things down here. Like I believe capacitors, when we research them, are just better than batteries. I don't believe batteries are required. Oh, they are required to make caching buffer and electronic. So we need to make batteries. Okay, so yeah, so we'll have to make all of them. But I think that's the best way to do it. Is have a row of factories. Maybe it's just two deep like this. So we only have two factories in each one, and then like a buffer in between them, exactly like what we've got here. Just copy this setup with factories all the way along, boom, and then figure out the piping in between, and then we can go down and have a look at what else we're making, where we're making it, because it all becomes very complicated very quickly, because it doesn't chain on. So concrete comes onto one thing, that's fine. But what I mean is, like iron, for instance, iron just doesn't become something else and then become something else. It's used with other things, so you end up having cables go backwards and forwards all over the place. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that. I'll do that off camera. I'm going to get rid of this, and we're going to go with a whole row of factories here, doing whatever factories do. And we might even have the factories double backing on themselves. So the factories that are making stuff here might go somewhere else, and so on and so forth. Or multiple factories doing things. So like for instance, I want to make a battery bomb. We'll make a battery from, let's say, lithium and graphite, because that's just for instance lithium and graphite. Graphite we're not making yet, lithium we are. So graphite will be made above as well, and then the graphite will come back along the bus to come to batteries, wherever batteries will be. So we're going to have lots of pipes in between here which are going left and right, which is going to be confusing. Lots of magnets, I should say, going to be confusing. But it's probably the best way to do it. So I'm going to do it off camera, because yeah, so that I can keep changing my mind whilst I'm doing it, because that's what I keep doing. So we'll leave this one here, and we shall come back next time with hopefully the next row built. I'm really dragging my feet with this, but it's because I don't know the end game of this so far. It's not like Factorio where you know what you're making, so you know you want the bus with iron and copper and blah. And you want this game is still new to me. I'm not watching other videos for it. I know other people have said about they've got lists that show what makes where when. I'm learning it myself, so very sorry it's going slowly, but that's just the way it's going to go. So we'll leave this one here. We shall come back next time. We shall carry on from there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this one. I hope to see you again in the next one. And until then, as always, have fun.